right, Coach. So obviously, came up a little short against UW last Saturday. What did you tell your team in the locker room following the conclusion of that game?
I thought it was a hard-fought game, and that we had our chances to win it. We had some really good looks down the stretch. Our biggest riddle to solve right now is two things. One is, how do we start a little bit better? We seem to be digging ourselves in a hole the first quarter. And second of all, can we finish plays with a lot more toughness defensively? And by that, I mean with our defensive rebounding or our ability to take charges.
And what would you say the key is to maintaining consistent effort throughout 4 quarters and coming out of the gate a little stronger?
We're trying to figure that out. There's no doubt about it. If you had the recipe for that, you could sell it. A lot of people would like to buy that as coaches, but I think that a lot of it comes down to how you practice, and if you really put yourself in a situation where it's highly competitive and you feel like that you're in game situations, you put yourself mentally in it and physically. I think as a coaching staff, we're trying to replicate as much as we can to make it game-like or even tougher than game-like, so that so they're a little bit more comfortable going into an actual game situation.
Right. Now Stanford's ranked number 16. This is going to be your 5th game in your past 6 after this weekend. That'll be against a team that is ranked or has been ranked.
Right.
You've been around the conference for a long time.
Yep.
How are you helping your players approach playing these types of teams week after week?
Right. Well, it's to me, this is why you coach and you play in the Pac-12. I mean, you want to play against the best every night, and you want to be able to coach against the best. And to me, it's an exciting opportunity. And I think that's always the message, is that this is a great opportunity for us to go out there and take another step to improve as a basketball team and to get it done, against a ranked team. I think our team understands that, and they embrace that as well. And, we've had 4 games that have come down now to the last shot. We've had chances to win all 4. And, we want to make sure now that we're working harder to put ourselves in a position that it doesn't have to come down to the last shot of the game, the last 2 shots, last possessions, that we start better, we finish stronger, and so that, we have some separation so that we can get those wins.
In Stanford's last game, they're held to 36 points by UCLA. What can you take away from their strategy and effort on defense?
I watched that game a little bit, and I know that UCLA is really coming on like gangbusters right now. I mean, they're so athletic. They played their 2-3 zone that is very, very tough because of the length in it, and they forced Stanford to take some really hard outside shots, and their shooters weren't on for that game. The thing about Stanford, is that at any moment those shooters can go back on very quickly. I think that they also they changed up some things in the second half. Stanford went to a bigger lineup and tried to go more high-low against the zone, and they had some success with that as well. So, Tara's a great coach. I mean, you don't win the NCAAs twice and the Olympic gold medal and all the honors. I mean, she's in every Hall of Fame, I think, possible and all. She'll definitely have it figured out for the next time that they play against the zone.
All right, now the Golden Bears are 1-7 in conference right now. How is the approach to Friday's game different than the one that you'll have facing Stanford on Sunday?
There's no difference. I don't think there's any difference. I think the only thing that's different is you have to understand a different scouting report. The two teams have some differences offensively and defensively to prepare for. But at the end of the week of preparation, 90% of the time it is spent on Cougar basketball and how that we can improve individually and as a team. And that's where our focus is. We're watching a lot of film right now with our team. We're watching a lot of film as a staff. And because we know that we're a talented team, and we're anything can happen. I mean, we're only halfway through the league right now, and if we keep improving and stay healthy, those W's will start falling into place.
It seemed now more frequently at times now too, particularly in this last game, that teams are really keying on Borislava and Luis defensively when you guys are on offense. What's the key to freeing them up more?
You bring up a good point. When Borislava in particular is 3-time freshman of the week, it's not easy. I mean, it's not tough to figure out what the scout's going to be for a lot of teams coming in. I think that Bobby's understanding the physicality of the game, especially off the ball. There's a lot of pushing and shoving, and not a allowing her to come off the screens, and she's toughening up to that aspect of the game. That's just Division I basketball. That's not a critique of the officials. And I think the other thing is her and Lou both, they need their teammates to start becoming more consistent offensively. And I think when they do that, it'll take the pressure off of them. It'll also make it tough for teams to just game plan for two.
Now, last question for you, Coach. You've been in the conference now for a very long time, and the Bay Area road trip is always a tough one, good quality opponents. Is there any road trip or weekend series you would call the toughest of them all?
God, right now they all seem tough, with the conference being ranked number 1 in the country. But I think it's all in your attitude and your approach towards it. I mean, I love the Pac-12, and I think our players love the Pac-12, and I think we look forward to, whatever city we're going to go out there and represent Washington State in the right way by playing hard, playing as a team, and making sure that we give our absolute best and leave it all in the court. They're all tough, but they're also great opportunities for us to really shine as a basketball program representing Washington State. So that's the way I approach it.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions on the line for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, Jim Allen here, the spokesman. How are you today?
Good, Jim.
Hey, I just wanted to talk with you a little bit about Hristova again, and you mentioned what her teammates need to do. What does she need to do to as you mentioned, people are ready for her now?
Well, I think, Bobby is, as you've seen, Jen, she's a highly competitive young lady who's very critical of herself. And one of the things that she's trying to work on, this week in particular, is just to be more aggressive off the pick and roll and do some better things. She does a pretty good job of reading the defense, the different defensive schemes. And I thought in particular, if you watched the game over at UW, she did a really great job of finding the roller and setting Korsakova up for some high lobs and some finishes that she had. But I think she just needs to continue to read what the defense is giving her, because every team is game planning, obviously, for her against the two-man pick and roll, and they're throwing a lot of different defenses. But I think she's getting more and more comfortable with reading the variety of defenses and making the right play.
At the other end of the court, we really haven't talked much about her defense. Obviously, it's pretty solid. Can you talk about her progress on the defensive end?
I think it's solid, but it's also got a long ways to go, and I think she'd be the first to tell you that. The game, the speed of the game is so much quicker here, and the athletes are in the Pac-12. Unbelievable, and so you've really got to get down in a stance and really play hard and not fall asleep when you're off ball and help position, some things like that. You can't get away with mistakes at this level, and I think that she's learning to become more consistent of playing out of a stance and reading what's going on, and and just keeping her intensity up on both ends of the floor.